Good morning, America. The White House versus Harvard. The man accused in the Pennsylvania governor's home fire faces a judge. And dreams come true at the WNBA draft. Overnight, an escalation in the Trump administration's campaign against elite colleges. The White House freezing billions of dollars in federal funding for Harvard University, what the school is refusing to do.
Immigration standoff over the Maryland man mistakenly sent to a prison in El Salvador. The president of El Salvador in the Oval Office says he will not send Kilmar Abrego Garcia back to the United States, and the Trump administration resists a Supreme Court order to facilitate his return.
The suspected arsonist accused of firebombing the Pennsylvania governor's official residence faces a judge. What we're learning about the attack.
A 5.2 earthquake rattles Southern California. 25 million people felt it. And this moment when elephants at the San Diego Zoo responded by protecting a baby elephant.
ABC News exclusive. The American students held in Denmark now free are interviewed.
We said, we've done nothing wrong, we've done nothing wrong. He then started an altercation with us.
What they say happened that night with the Uber driver.
Startling video. A young woman suffers a stroke alone, all seen on the family nanny cam. Dr. Narula with the warning signs everyone needs to know. Tech in your brain. Could using all the devices from your computer to your phone really help hold off dementia?
Astonishing video. A woman hangs onto a rock ledge hundreds of feet in the air. How she called for help while barely hanging on.
No, hold on to me.
And the heart-pounding rescue.
This girl is on fire.
And the next big moment in the book of Paige.
With the first pick in the 2025 WNBA draft, the Dallas Wings select Paige Bueckers, University of Connecticut.
Paige, Dominique, Sonia, leading the class of 2025 and becoming the league's newest stars.
This girl is on fire.
Live from Times Square, it's Tuesday. Good morning, America.
Good morning, America. What a night at the WNBA draft. We're going to talk about all the stars ahead, but congratulations to Paige Bueckers, all the young ladies who were drafted. And there are always going to be some who didn't get drafted who are going to make a big impact on the league.
They are. Big night last night. Coming up here, it's tax day. As you know, we're going to tell you to find out if you can get a stimulus payment from the government, also how to get it.
But we're going to begin with Harvard University, pushing back against the Trump administration, the White House freezing billions of dollars in federal aid as the school rejects policy demands. Matt Gutman is in Cambridge with the latest for us. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, Robin. Harvard's president, the first to openly defy the Trump administration, drawing that line in the sand, saying that no government should dictate to a private university what it can teach, who it can hire and admit. The administration responding swiftly by freezing those $2 billion in federal grants. Overnight, the Trump administration freezing more than $2 billion in federal grant money after Harvard University rejected a list of government demands, including overhauling hiring and admissions practices. Harvard, America's wealthiest university, not backing down in the face of pressure from President Trump, who was threatening to pull roughly $9 billion in federal aid unless the school makes a slew of changes to the way it's run. The administration ordering the school to report foreign students who commit conduct violations to federal authorities, submit to an audit to ensure academic departments have diverse viewpoints, and all DEI programs share hiring data with the administration, and submit to an audit of admissions data. The administration also calling for the correction of what it calls anti-Semitism on campus, an issue which Harvard says it has already taken steps to address. But in a scathing letter, the university's president blasting the administration for what he says is a violation of Harvard's First Amendment rights, writing, "No government, regardless of which party is in power, should dictate what private universities can teach, whom they can admit and hire, and which areas of study and inquiry they can pursue." This is hundreds of demonstrators gathered in Cambridge over the weekend, protesting the administration's arrests and detainments of international students.
What the university has said is, we're going to stand on our principle and our legal rights.
The school's defiance coming as President Trump squeezes Ivy League universities, some like New York's Columbia University, conceding to a list of demands after hundreds of millions of dollars in aid was paused. And Harvard's defiance being applauded here on campus by faculty and by students, and Harvard vowing not to surrender to the Trump administration. And one of the big questions going forward, does Harvard dip into its $50 billion plus endowment to make up for that federal grant shortfall? George.
Okay, Matt, thanks very much. We're going to turn now to the legal showdown over a wrongfully deported Salvadoran national. The Trump administration is resisting a Supreme Court order to facilitate the man's return to the U.S., and El Salvador's president refused to send the men back in a White House meeting with President Trump. Senior national correspondent Terry Moran has the story. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning, George. It's a nightmare scenario here. The Trump administration admits it mistakenly deported Kilmar Abrego Garcia to that notorious prison in El Salvador, and now they say the U.S. is powerless to get him back, despite an order upheld by the Supreme Court to bring him home. This morning, a stunning comment from President Trump caught on a live streaming camera before reporters were in the Oval Office, telling the president of El Salvador he'd like to send American citizens convicted of crimes to prisons in El Salvador.
I said, homegrowns are next. The homegrowns. You got to build about 5 more places. Yeah, that's big. All right. It's not big enough.
Minutes later, with reporters in the room, Trump said he wants Attorney General Pam Bondi to see if the law allows this.
I'd like to include them in the group of people to get them out of the country, but you'll have to be looking at the laws on that.
The president musing that this proposal could help with America's prison population.
I'm all for it, because we can do things with the president for less money and have great security. And we have a huge prison population.
And it isn't the first time Trump's threatened to send U.S. citizens to prisons overseas. In February, he said this.
I'm just saying, if we had the legal right to do it, I would do it in a heartbeat.
All this as Kilmar Abrego Garcia, a Salvadoran migrant, husband and father living in Maryland, languishes in that notorious Salvadoran prison, despite a court order that the administration must bring him back to the U.S. The government claims Abrego Garcia is a member of the MS-13 gang, but a federal judge said last week they have offered no evidence to back that up, and he has no criminal record here or in El Salvador. And the Supreme Court last week unanimously ruled that the U.S. government must facilitate Abrego Garcia's return, calling his removal illegal. Trump at first said he'd abide by the Supreme Court's ruling.
If they said to bring him back, I would tell them to bring him back.
Now the administration says their hands are tied.
That's up to El Salvador. If they want to return him, that's not up to us.
But in the Oval Office, the president of El Salvador made clear he's got no plans to send Abrego Garcia back to the U.S.
How can I return him to the United States? Like I smuggle him into the United States, or what do I do? Of course, I'm not going to do it. It's like, the question is preposterous.
The Democratic leader of the House calling on the courts to use judicial powers to pressure the administration.
The Supreme Court and/or the federal district court actually needs to enforce its order.
Abrego Garcia's lawyer spoke with our Linsey Davis, and he says he personally has worked with the Department of Homeland Security to bring back clients from other countries after winning their cases in court. Quote, he said, "We're not asking anybody to do anything illegal. We're asking them to follow the law."
George? Terry, this is very likely to go back to the Supreme Court absent any evidence that the administration is actually trying to get him back.
Absolutely. And the problem that the Supreme Court has is that they have no enforcement mechanism for the order that the administration is under. They have to count on the president to obey it.
Terry Moran, thanks very much. Michael?
All right, George, thank you. Now to President Trump's tariffs. The administration taking steps to implement new tariffs on semiconductors and pharmaceuticals. Our senior political correspondent, Rachel Scott, is at the White House with the details for us. Good morning, Rachel.
Michael, good morning. And the White House is laying the groundwork for the president to invoke national security to impose new tariffs on semiconductors and on pharmaceuticals. This could have a big impact on Americans across the country. Semiconductors, traditionally made outside of the United States, are used to power everything from cars to smartphones. And on pharmaceuticals, the raw ingredients used to make most medicines are also made overseas. Experts warn that could drive up the prices on over-the-counter drugs like ibuprofen. But the president is insisting that all of that needs to be made here in the United States. And some tech companies, including NVIDIA overnight, have responded to his demand for manufacturing here in the United States. But it will take time for those productions to get up and running. Meanwhile, the White House, the Trump administration, continuing these negotiations on trade with other countries. The vice president says there is a good chance that the U.S. will reach a trade agreement with the U.K., but not at the negotiating table is China. Those 145% tariffs on Chinese imports are still in place, Michael.
And Rachel, it's a new day and it's a new lawsuit for President Trump over the tariffs.
Exactly, Michael. Now, this time it is a group of small businesses that are suing the Trump administration over these tariffs, saying the president does not have the power to impose them, calling his reasoning that this is a national emergency, a quote, figment of his imagination. Now, the White House is pushing back, insisting that it is a national emergency, saying that these tariffs do level the playing field for small businesses and for workers, Michael.
All right, Rachel Scott, thank you so much. George.
Okay, Mike, we're going to get the latest now on the arson strike against Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. The attacker has been arraigned on multiple charges. Chief Investigative Correspondent Aaron Katursky is on the scene in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning, George. You can see the restoration and demolition are underway. They just dropped off these big green dumpsters, and investigators searching for a motive are finding a suspect with a history of financial and personal problems.
Sir, what were you thinking of Sunday?
This morning, the suspected arsonist and domestic terrorist who allegedly firebombed the Pennsylvania governor's residence is being held without bail on a slew of charges, including arson, burglary, and attempted murder.
Any comment?
Cody Balmer telling the judge he had no job, no money, and when asked if he had any history of mental illness, he responded, "That's the rumor, but no, ma'am." Investigators have not said why Balmer allegedly hopped a fence, broke a window, and threw Molotov cocktails where Governor Josh Shapiro and his family had just celebrated Passover.
No one will deter me or my family or any Pennsylvanian from celebrating their faith openly and proudly.
Early Sunday morning, prosecutors said Balmer walked to the governor's mansion harboring hatred towards Governor Shapiro. Had Shapiro found him inside, Balmer allegedly told investigators he would have beaten him with his hammer. Court records reviewed by ABC News show Balmer had recently struggled to pay his mortgage and faced charges for domestic assault. On social media, he posted complaints about the cost of living and critiques of both Presidents Trump and Biden.
When you arrive on scene, you've dealt with fires in any number of structures, but to see flames coming out of the governor's mansion, how did that affect your response and your impression?
You know, for us, it's a surreal feeling. I'm still really dealing with it internally.
The fire chief also told us, Michael, there was a door between the main dining room where the fire started and the rest of the house that happened to be closed. Had it been open, the chief said he's certain flames and smoke would have spread to the living quarters, putting the governor and his family further at risk. Michael?
Yeah, we're happy that did not happen. Happy they're all okay. Thank you so much for that, Aaron. We're going to turn now to the magnitude 5.2 earthquake that rattled Southern California on Monday. Stephanie Ramos is in San Diego with the latest. Good morning, Stephanie.
Michael, good morning. The quake was felt across Southern California and into Mexico, leaving a lot of people a bit shaken. Emergency responders now rushing to inspect areas.
This morning, residents across Southern California are bracing for possible aftershocks after a magnitude 5.2 earthquake rattled the San Diego area Monday. The quake's epicenter in the mountain town of Julian, alcohol smashing to the ground.
When I came out, it was just bourbon and everything all over the floor. It's the biggest one I've personally ever felt in 15 years.
In Scripps Ranch, this baby jolted awake.
Don't be afraid.
Violence shaking at a church. The service was being live streamed. At the San Diego Zoo Safari Park, frightened elephants instinctively forming what's known as an alert circle to protect the herd. Construction crews in downtown San Diego were 35 stories high when the building began to sway.
The guys on top, they're on the side of the building and they could fall off.
The quake also triggered rock slides, sending boulders crashing onto roads.
Many residents here in San Diego and up north to Los Angeles received early warnings via text thanks to apps like MyShake that sent out alerts just seconds before those tremors hit. Robin, thankfully no one was reported to be injured.
You're right, thankfully about that. Stephanie, thank you. Now to the biggest moments from last night's WNBA draft. Paige Bueckers, fresh off her national championship win with UConn, going as expected. The #1 pick with the Dallas Wings, and Will Reeve, you're here with more on all the big night.
Yeah, good morning. That was a lock, right? It feels good to get a call right every once in a while. Hopefully the Dallas Wings got the call right as well by drafting Paige Bueckers. Probably a pretty safe bet. She's one of the best college basketball players ever. Now she's a pro, along with 37 others, headed to the WNBA.
With the first pick in the 2025 WNBA draft, the Dallas Wings select Paige Bueckers, University of Connecticut.
This morning, it's official. Paige Bueckers is a pro.
I didn't do it alone. It took a village.
Fresh off winning the national title, her former UConn teammates there to cheer her on.
Those are my sisters. Just extremely grateful for them.
Bueckers' new team already fired up.
Look at this reaction. Before I was asked about Tex-Mex versus barbecue, I was unfamiliar with the term Tex-Mex, so that's my pick. But Dallas, I'm so excited.
Bueckers supporting fellow Husky Caitlin Chen, drafted by the Golden State Valkyries.
Caitlin Chen? Yeah. Let's go!
With the second pick in the 2025 WNBA draft, the Seattle Storm select Dominique Malonga from France.
Right behind Bueckers, 19-year-old Dominique Malonga, the 6'6" Olympic silver medalist who left her French club to join the WNBA.
The Washington Mystics select Georgia A. Moore, University of Kentucky.
And while she may be a whole foot shorter, the electric Georgia A. Moore stood out to the Mystics.
With my competitive background, I think I have a little bit of that dog in me that's going to keep me fighting.
And Haley Van Lith going 11th to the Chicago Sky, where she'll be reunited with her former LSU teammate Angel Reese.
I'm excited to be in that environment with her again, where she can pull more out of me than I think I have.
Congrats to all. So much to look forward to for them and for us. The WNBA season starts May 16th.
Yeah, we don't have to wait that long.
Yeah.
And tomorrow, the #1 pick, Paige Bueckers, will be here live in our studio tomorrow. Yeah, that's what we do. What we do here. Coming up, James Longman is here as well. Has the latest on the American students detained in Denmark, James?
Yeah, that's right. These two students were in Copenhagen for spring break, and they were held after an alleged confrontation with an Uber driver. Now, after he says he was in a Danish prison for nearly 2 weeks, Owen Ray is out of jail. He's telling us his story exclusively on ABC News.
That is coming up. Also, taxes due today. We'll tell you how to find out if you're eligible for a $1,400 stimulus check, also how to get it.
And the woman stuck hanging from the edge of a cliff, how she managed to call for help and her rescue. We're learning new details about this year's Met Gala. That's coming up in Pop News.
Back here on GLA, we all know and love this song for the one and only Barry Manilow. He's now announcing a series of farewell performances for certain cities. Kicking off this summer. Lara has all the details for us coming up in Pop News.
He's always been such a great guest here. First new at 7:30, divers have recovered the main rotor of the helicopter that crashed into the Hudson River last week, killing a family of 5 and the pilot. The rotor could provide key clues about what caused the aircraft to break apart in midair. FAA records show the helicopter experienced a mechanical issue with its transmission assembly last September. The agency has now grounded the tour company. And Hertz is notifying customers whose personal information may have been compromised in a data breach. The breach may include drivers' names, credit card information, and social security numbers.
Pfizer is reversing course on developing a weight loss pill. The drug company was hoping to bring the first weight loss pill to the market, but we're going to have much more in our next hour. LA Lakers star Luka Doncic has topped the list of the NBA's most popular jerseys. He's the first international player to take top honors and the first player not named Steph Curry or LeBron James to top the list in over a decade.
Ooh.
Yep, and his team, the Lakers, they took #1 on the most popular team merchandise list as well.
Luka Mania.
Yes.
All right.
Great player.
Thank you, Michael. Now we have the 2 American college students arrested in Denmark after a dispute with an Uber driver. They're out of jail, but still stuck in the country. One speaking out this morning in an ABC News exclusive. Chief International Correspondent James Longman is here in the studio with more for us. Good morning, James.
Yeah, good morning, Robin. 2 U.S. college students have just been released from nearly 2 weeks in jail in Denmark after an alleged fight with their Uber driver, but their passports have been seized and they still cannot leave the country. One of them is speaking to ABC News this morning.
This morning, those 2 American college students who were arrested in Denmark after an alleged altercation with an Uber driver are no longer in custody, and one of them is speaking out.
I feel good. I'm glad that the High Court ruled in our favor today and allowed us to be released from the prison, and it feels good to be with my family.
It was on March 31st when Owen Ray and his friend, who wants to remain anonymous, say they took an Uber back to their hotel, but realized they'd put in the wrong address and opted to cancel the ride.
After we got out of the car, we walked a few blocks away. The Uber driver then drove around. He found us. He then got out of the car and started yelling at us, thinking he hadn't been paid for the Uber, but in fact, he had been paid for the Uber. He then got in our faces and was saying, "I'm going to call 10 guys." We said, "We've done nothing wrong. We've done nothing wrong." He then started an altercation with us.
A spokesperson for the rideshare company tells ABC News the driver reported to Uber that he was assaulted by 2 riders. Danish authorities detained them both at the airport the next day, declaring them a flight risk.
We were both just very shocked about the fact that we were being arrested over this incident. We had done nothing wrong. We were the victims of an attack.
Ray says they spent the next 2 weeks in a Danish prison.
There were 2 of us in a pretty small jail cell in bunk beds. We spent 23 hours a day in the cell. We had 1 hour a day of yard time. We were allowed to make 1 phone call a week.
The college student says their passports have been confiscated, but they haven't been charged. It's now an anxious wait for their families for what comes next.
I'm not entirely sure on what the status is of the case at the moment. The Danish legal system hasn't been entirely clear about what's happening, but for as far as I know at the moment, we're still waiting for either the investigating police to decide not to pursue the case or for a trial date to be set.
For Ray, he's hopeful he can be back home before May.
I'm just going to try and, stay in a positive attitude and hope that they can resolve the case.
Now, these 2 young men have to report daily to police until their court hearing, which is scheduled for April 24th. They might be out of jail, but this looks like it has a way to go, and they certainly won't be home for Easter. Guys.
Okay, James, thanks very much for turning out a tax day. We're answering some of your most searched questions. Trevor Ault is here with the details. And Trevor, let's just begin with what happens if you just can't make the deadline.
Right, and we know that there are a lot of people that have maybe waited a little bit too long. You're going to want to get an extension if that's the case, and you can do it pretty easily on the IRS website. This is just a box that you want to check. It will give you 6 extra months to file, but this is important. This is an extension on filing. The money that you owe is still technically due today, so you're either going to have to take your best estimate of what you owe and pay that today and then file later, or if you don't pay at all, you do risk getting hit with penalties.
But there are some places that have extended the deadline.
Yeah, specifically places that have been hit with natural disasters. In some places that's specific counties, other times it's entire states. So Florida, Georgia, Alabama, North and South Carolina, they pushed their deadlines back a couple weeks to May 1st. If you're in California, if you were impacted by the LA wildfires, their deadline is 6 months later, October 15th. And if you're in Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, you still have until November 3rd to file. You should check specifically where you live.
That's going to really help those folks.
Definitely,
they need much. Yeah, they really do. There are always new rules.
For sure.
So what should we be aware of?
So one that I think a lot of people are going to like is called Direct File. They've been rolling this out. This is a service directly through the IRS. You can get all your taxes filed and paid, and it's free. But this is only available in 25 states so far. You got to look up to see if you qualify. And then also new, and this is going to impact people who have side hustles. If you made $5,000 or more through a payment app, Venmo or Cash App, or an online marketplace like Etsy or eBay, you have to report those profits. And those companies should have sent you a 1099-K. The IRS would have gotten one too, so they're waiting on you. That's right. I know. I'm sorry, Robin. I know that you've got your Etsy marketplace where you've been bidding.
Families are also going to like these $1,400 stimulus checks if they can get them.
If they it can, and even that is kind of a benefit for people who procrastinated a little bit. You might remember this is leftover from the pandemic. Back in 2021, they had these $1,400 stimulus checks. These were for people who were making less than $75,000 or for couples under $150,000. Now, at the time, if you received that check, you are not getting another one. But if you didn't file your taxes in 2021 for whatever reason, you actually can still qualify for it. But today is the last day to claim that $1,400 rebate. You have to file your taxes from 3 years ago today, and then you should be sent that money. If you don't file it today, though, that money goes back to the Treasury. So 3 years of waiting, you got to do it right now, though.
Yeah. Okay. We're procrastinating.
Could pay off.
3 years, fine. 3 years, 1 day, not okay.
All right, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Now, with an incredible survival story, a young woman clinging to the side of a cliff for more than an hour. And Larry has the details. Good morning again.
It is really remarkable to see. Good morning to you, Michael. It's not just that this woman survived this ordeal, it's how she managed to alert rescuers that she needed help despite hanging in a very precarious position, not to mention the bravery of the team who worked tirelessly to save her. This morning, a harrowing rescue caught on camera.
She's on a laying down on the angle. You got it? Yep, I see her.
A female hiker teetering for over an hour on the edge of this mountain on the Pacific Crest Trail, thousands of feet above the ground, managing to hit the emergency button on her Garmin-type device, launching the Riverside County Sheriff's Aviation Unit.
When I first saw her on our first pass, it looked like she was hanging on for her life on the side of that mountain.
Corey Allen was a rescue specialist aboard that chopper, alongside pilot Mike Calhoun and rescue specialist Jason Beeman.
We could definitely see her silhouetted out on that steep angle. She was just hanging on.
As Calhoun readied the chopper, Allen prepared the cable to hoist crew chief Beeman down to the stranded woman. The Pacific Crest Trail is known for being one of the most difficult trails in the country.
And that's a trail that goes from Mexico to Canada through the western United States. It's very dry, very hilly. It's a lot to get over.
Hey, can I walk up that ridge line? Yeah, I'll try and walk you up. Looks pretty. What I see, walk up down there? Fairly steep. We'll do the game plan. I'm going to drop you in below her. He's on the ground. We're going to start easily working him up. Okay, so descend a little bit. He's right at her, so keep coming down.
Beeman was able to reach the woman, her legs and arms shaking as she strained to hang on. But he was unable to get a rescue harness around her.
No, hold on to me. Yes, no, not my ears. Grab a hold around my back. You gotta lift this cord and get away from this wall.
I was able to get not a full bear hug grip that I wanted to get on her. My cable got underneath my arm, which I think is possibly what twisted us just a little bit.
Your legs around me. All the way up. I want to pick you up just a little bit. Yep. We're going to move you to the right.
At last, Beeman was able to pull her off the ledge and reposition her at the top of the cliff.
All right, you come all the way up. You come all the way up. Good job.
Before being lifted to safety.
This is our job and we love doing what we're doing. We're all passionate about it. I just kind of reassured her that you're not the first one of the season that's gotten picked up off the PCT. You won't be the last one.
Ooh, some cuts, some bruises, and complete exhaustion, but that woman is going to be just fine. And our incredible rescuers, they want everyone to know this woman was a very experienced hiker. And look at the position that she found herself in. Having the right safety equipment and knowing how to use it saved her life, and it is critical to have that stuff before going on a hike. I wouldn't call this a hike, but
she had a tracker on that she was able
to... She did, and that is how she was able to somehow alert them, and they jumped right into action. Thank goodness for those rescuers.
Oh, yeah. All right, Lara, thank you.
My heart rate is watching that video.
Yeah, that was much more than I thought it was going to be. Like, really
She's
dangerous.
very lucky.
Yeah.
It's like watching a tennis match with Lara and Sam. Boing, boing,
That's
boing.
one word for it.
That's one word. We got a player of the day. Sam's going to bring us a stunning record-breaking leap.
Right, I can't wait. Here we go. It's the 17th edition of Swatch Nines, ladies and gentlemen. It's a freestyle snow sports event that takes place in Switzerland. Take a look at the jaw-dropping feat. Let's shred some pow, if you will. And may the cruise be successful with no yard sales.
Oh,
how was that? Was that good?
Yes,
Yard sale is when you wipe out and you lose the equipment,
Yes, it's
by the
happened.
way. Yeah. Norwegian snowboarder Øyvind Kirkus racing down the ramp and launching, competing the world's first ever switch backside quad 1620. So what does that mean, you ask? And I'm glad I'm here to sort it out for you.
All right, so you start in reverse with your dominant leg forward, then launch to a sideways spin, complete 4 rotations as one does, and land in the opposite position with your other leg forward. Kirk has said it felt absolutely unreal riding away from it. He was in utter disbelief that he had stuck it, but very happy to have nailed it and successfully and safely.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't it beautiful?
He really
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
How do
How do you
people
do
do
that?
that?
I don't
Well,
know.
how do you
Get through
do
the
it?
practice
I mean,
on it.
No, I really, exactly. Well, coming up, we got all the fashion from last night's WNBA draft. Lara's going to tell us all about it. Coming up with Pop News. Come on back.
looking good.
Good morning, America. It's 8 a.m. The White House versus Harvard. An escalation in the Trump administration's campaign against elite colleges. Billions of dollars frozen in federal funding for Harvard University. What the school is refusing to do.
Weight loss pill, pull. Pfizer scrapping development of a once-a-day weight loss pill. The major setback that led to the decision.
A young woman's stroke caught on the family's nanny cam. How she managed to call for help. Dr. Trevor Ault is here with the warning signs to watch for.
And it's Tuesday. The Savannah Bananas here on a boat. And singing Benson Boone. Now, their big home run announcement. As we say, Good Morning, America.
Live from Times Square, it's Tuesday. Good Morning, America.
You are a fan.
Savannah?
Savannah Bananas.
Yes.
Yeah, of course, they're famous for the dance moves. And 10 of their games will be on ESPN starting later this month.
And coming up here on GMA, though, we have our new series. It's called In Our Home. It's about how American families are living now. We're starting with a family that has 4 generations living under one roof, and they tell us how they make it work.
And our friend Cameron Mathison is here live. Always so great to see Cameron, and we can't wait to catch up with him.
A great guy. First look at the top stories breaking at 8. We start with Harvard University pushing back against the Trump administration. The White House has frozen billions of dollars in federal aid as the university rejects its demands. Matt Gutman is in Cambridge, Massachusetts with all the details. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, George, good morning. Harvard University, the first to be so publicly defiant of the Trump administration. The president of Harvard drawing that line in the sand, saying that no government should dictate to a private university what it can teach, who it can hire, and who it can admit. The Trump administration responding swiftly, of course, by freezing over $2 billion in federal grant money. That is after a weekend in which the Trump administration sent a list of demands to Harvard, which include reporting foreign students who commit conduct violations to federal authorities, submitting to an audit to ensure academic departments have diverse viewpoints, and ending all DEI programs, and correcting what the administration claims is anti-Semitism on campus, which Harvard says it has already taken care of. Now, Harvard's defiance puts roughly $9 billion in total of federal grant aid on the line. And one of the big questions going forward, does Harvard use any of that $50 billion plus endowment to make up the federal shortfall? One thing, that defiance has been applauded here on campus by faculty and by students. Robin.
All right, Matt, our thanks to you. Now to President Trump's tariff impact here at home. Small businesses caught in the middle as the administration raised tariffs on Chinese goods to 145%, making it a lot more expensive for them. Will is back with that. Good morning again.
Yeah, good morning, Robin. It's well noted that these tariffs affect costs all along the supply chain. Small businesses are facing an existential crisis, many owners not knowing what's going to happen or what they should do.
With massive tariffs still in place on everything from clothes to beauty supplies to sporting equipment, many on Main Street are preparing for the impact of incoming tariffs. In Katy, Texas, outside Houston, Nick Walk is co-owner of Good Times Running Company, where much of the apparel comes from overseas. He says he's prepared as he can be.
My stockroom is about as full as it can get to kind of help with that preparation as well.
He and other local businesses are teaming up, finding whatever solutions they can.
It's one of those kind of give and takes that if they have a product that they need and can't source and I have it, I mail it to them.
In Detroit, Jessica Quayle says she spent weeks bracing for tariffs. But with even smaller items facing tariffs, costs add up.
I didn't realize how many accessories like hair clips, rubber bands, a lot of those say made in China as well.
Across the country, in Napa, California, Alex Ozanenko's sporting goods store is bracing for the worst.
No matter what brand you pick, it is 90% of the time it's manufactured in China. The big guy's not going to help us, okay? Unless we get some kind of a deal worked out with China and Vietnam and any of those countries, we're going to see a significant spike in prices.
And a group of 5 small businesses from across the country filed a lawsuit in a New York-based federal court yesterday, alleging that the law used to invoke the tariffs does not give the president unilateral power to do so. Meanwhile, the president's top economic advisor said yesterday the U.S. is close to trade deals with 10 nations. But every swing up and down here has a real impact on the small business owners.
It really does.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for that, Will. Appreciate that. And now to a major drug company's decision to stop work on a pill for obesity. Eva Pilgrim is here with the details for us. Good morning, Eva.
Good morning, Michael. Pfizer striking out with its latest attempt at a weight loss pill. As we all know, weight loss injections are wildly popular, and the race is on to get the first weight loss pill to market. The pharmaceutical giant scrapping development of a once daily GLP-1 pill after a person involved in their trial suffered a liver injury. The current leaders in the field, both with injectables, Novo Nordisk with Wegovy targets GLP-1 hormones, and Eli Lilly with Zepbound targets GLP-1 and GIP hormones. Both companies are also working on pills that are in late-stage clinical trials. Pfizer continuing on with another pill that's currently in phase 2 trials. This one targets that GIP hormone. And there are 3 other biopharma companies also working on pills to bring to market. Weight loss medication is big business. This market is expected to be worth $150 billion in the coming years, guys.
Wow. Thank you, Eva. Coming up on our GMA Morning Menu, a woman's stroke caught on camera. Dr. Trevor Ault is here to tell us how to spot the signs.
Also had the orange carpet at the WNBA draft with a slam dunk. We have the looks in pop news.
Plus, Tori Johnson is here with Deals and Steals, all about bringing spring into your kitchen. And they're all from small businesses. And Lara and Sam got some special guests with you.
Yeah,
yep, we do.
All is not as it seems here on GMA, thanks to Chef Roy Choi breaking all the rules. This looks like Pomodoro,
but it's not.
It's not. We'll explain coming up on GMA.
I'm surprised you didn't. We are back with our GMA cover story. A young woman whose stroke was actually caught on camera. Dr. Taryn Narula here with her story. What a story it is.
Another story with a camera. Good morning, George. Every 40 seconds, someone in the United States has a stroke, and more than 50% of those patients who don't survive are women. It's something I see in my office all too often, and this young woman is making it her mission to help others recognize the symptoms and to help save lives.
As an active, healthy 38-year-old, suffering a stroke was not on Krista Fagari's radar.
A stroke was the last thing I ever expected.
But all that changed when she awoke one morning last April, and it was all caught on a nanny cam.
What I recall is that I woke up, was making my bed, and then I turned around to start walking towards the bathroom. And when I turned, there was no balance. I couldn't stand. And I just fell, started tumbling over to the side. And then I felt like I blacked out for a second and was just on the floor.
The stroke, which occurs when blood flow to the brain is interrupted, affected her entire left side. Approximately 795,000 strokes occur every year in the U.S., and they are on the rise. About 10 to 14% of strokes occur in those under the age of 50.
I literally could not move my leg at all. It was like it was dead. Same with my arm. Even just trying to pull myself up was impossible. I just was like, what's happening? I need help.
Helpless and confused, Krista was somehow able to use Siri to call 911. Her quick action may have saved her life.
So stroke is treatable, but there's a very short time window where we're able to treat it safely with the clot-busting medications we use.
Even though Krista woke up with the stroke, doctors were able to pinpoint the time it started using a rapid MRI machine. Luckily, she had gotten to the hospital in time, and the clot-busting drugs worked within 15 minutes. Doctors eventually diagnosed Krista with a PFO, a hole in the heart that's likely responsible for 10% of strokes in young people.
Trust your gut. If I didn't trust the fact that something was really wrong, I could be in a very, very different situation right now.
Krista's story is one example of how acting fast can literally make the difference between life and death.
So what are the signs that people have to watch out for?
Well, there's a great mnemonic called Be Fast. So if you think of each letter, the B stands for balance. So if you feel off balance, you can't walk right, that's something to pay attention to. The E is eyes. You have trouble with your vision, either blurry or double. F stands for face. So if your face is drooping on one side or numb. The A is for arms. It could also be legs, but numbness or weakness on one side of the arms or legs. S is speech. If your speech is garbled, people can't understand you. And the T is time. So it's time to act fast. We say time is brain. Why? Because 1.9 million brain cells die every minute that goes by before you get treated for a stroke.
Oh my gosh. I mean, but and the fact that I wouldn't even thought to use Siri to call.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah, she had the upper lock on her
Yeah.
door locked,
Wow.
so the landlord couldn't even get in. He had to come in through the fire escape.
Wow.
So thank God she had Siri. And they were going to call 911.
That's right. That's right. How about this study? It's called what? Digital dementia, where it has some kind of tech use has impact over time with our memory?
Right. So we're seeing sort of the first digital pioneers, people who are over age 50 exposed to computers, phones, tablets, screens. And the question is that going to be bad or good, right? Would that lead to dementia or maybe have a positive effect? And so in this study, they looked at 57 other studies, over 400,000 adults over the age of 50, and they in fact found that they were 42% less likely to develop dementia or cognitive impairment. Now, before you go rushing to grab a device or a screen, it's important to note that they didn't look at what type of screen or device they used. They didn't look at how long they used it. And the other thing is this is a different population from the younger generation now that's really born into using screens. Their brains were already older and formed.
Right.
That being said, it's reassuring, and it also tells us once again that use in moderation is probably okay. And also, Lara, you and I talked about with kids, but it's the same concept. If you're using it for something creative that's intellectually stimulating, to build social connection, then there might be value. Exactly.
Right.
So
if you're not just dead scrolling.
if you're doing Wordle or connections
working
or
your brain.
Sudoku, yes, or meeting with family and friends on Zoom, as we saw during COVID. So, very interesting though.
Very, very. All right.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Be fast.
Be fast.
Never
Yes.
forget that.
That's right.
Now let's go to Lara. What you got, Lara?
All right, I will get to it. Good morning to everybody. It's less than a month to go until fashion's biggest night takes over New York City. We are, of course, talking about the annual Met Gala, whose theme this year is Superfine, tailoring black style. And while Vogue hosts the event, it will be co-chaired by Coleman Domingo, Lewis Hamilton, Pharrell Williams, and A$AP Rocky. And this morning, we can exclusively reveal the 4 brand new covers of Vogue magazine, each featuring one of the co-chairs who open up inside the pages about the opportunity to be part of something so special. F1 racer Lewis Hamilton sharing that he hopes everyone attending is compelled to fully research the theme and think about what they're going to wear. Coleman Domingo said he actually went to the Met to get inspiration.
That's great. That's a great
Yes, he's so stylish. He was incredibly moved when he went to the Met at the sight of black mannequins displaying the garments in the exhibit. Pharrell Williams says he wants it to feel like the most epic night of power. And A$AP Rocky says that he's inspired by the fashion of the men in his life, like his dad and even his son, because he says, well, look at who his mom is.
Well, that's fair.
That's fair. That's fair. That would be Rihanna, by the way. Tomorrow, we will have an exclusive look at the full Met Gala issue of Vogue, just for our viewers right here on GMA.
Exclusives that you
Yes, little nuggets. All right, also in pop, from the Met, we go to the orange carpet of the WNBA draft here last night in New York City. Earlier this morning, Will Reeve told us all the details about who's going where in the draft, but that wasn't the only excitement. The players turning the carpet into a catwalk, starting with the #1 draft pick, Paige Beckers, now a Dallas wing wearing a custom suit by Coach, looking so great, but she did it not once but twice. She changed into a stunning black suit with a sparkling lapel. Anissa Morrow also wore head-to-toe Coach. She embraced a leather look for the orange carpet.
Wow.
And then Kiki Iriafen, now headed to the Washington Mystics. She wore a one-of-a-kind beaded gown. It was so beautiful, and it was custom made by a Nigerian designer. Haley Van Lith hitting the carpet in vintage Coach. Wow, Coach really had a lock on this event.
Yeah, they had a lock on this.
Getting a big shout out from her new Chicago Sky teammate, Angel Reese, who wrote online simply the word 8. And my people tell me that's a good thing.
That's a really good thing.
You got to translate for me.
Very good.
You guys?
Really?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Goodness.
But it's good.
She ate that look, George. I mean,
She ate that
She
look.
crushed
Oh,
it. Yeah.
like I ate it up. Like
Yes.
Thanks,
Yes.
kids. Thanks for the.
Big congratulations to all of the ladies, by the way, on the draft. Good luck with your new teams. You looked fabulous. You ate it.
There you go.
Is that right?
I'm so sorry. I disappointed
No,
Michael
you don't
so
eat it?
badly.
Oh, no. All right, maybe we should move on.
Yeah, we should.
It's almost last call, everybody, at the Copacabana. Drink orders, please. Drink orders
At the Copa?
at the Copa.
Copacabana.
Copacabana.
The hottest spot north of Havana.
Exactly.
Oh, that
you
Copa.
got that right, mister. Barry Manilow has announced he will be doing a series of farewell performances in cities across the country this summer. Manilow's last concerts, guys, will be his final performances. Thank God we have Sam. Because of demand, though, he has added 8 new arena tour dates. He's currently doing shows in Philly, Boston, Detroit, Grand Rapids, and Cleveland before heading to his extra dates out west. He kicks off the summer shows on July 11th. He'll be in Washington, then Utah, Idaho, Oregon, and California. He said in a statement that he couldn't be more thrilled to visit these cities, of which he has so many fond memories. Each one is special to his touring history. Oh, Mandy.
Oh, Mandy.
Oh, Mandy.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh.
Tickets
classic.
are
Yeah.
on sale now. I know. I wish I'd queued up 3 songs. You can always catch him, though, at his lifetime residency. He performs in Vegas, and I dare say it's so worth it. He's just the best.
There's no doubt. I mean, if he needs a backup singer for Copa at any of those events, I might be available.
Well, you know what?
Oddly, I know the
I think
word.
you should be a backup dancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
No, I'm not going to do it again.
Cut the camera. One more time.
No.
Come on,
hey, we
Sammy.
got to go, don't we? Or are you done?
No,
Or you're
why
not
are
done?
you trying to rush
Okay, I'm
me?
trying to rush because I
have
forgot
to get
with
to
Michael
my
yesterday.
True beat, my true calling. Sam, you are our sports guy. I cover baby animals. And
Oh,
I'm here for
yes, you do.
Everyone, please meet our new friend. He's a big boy at the Kansas Zoo. He was just born a few days ago. The Sedgwick County Zoo says this is the first African elephant born in their care. They are thrilled to announce his name is Bamani. It means warrior, and he is. Bamani was standing on his own, exploring his surroundings. You can go see him there. He's doing just fine. And as you know, I will be covering him throughout his first year because that is my beat.
Lara goes live.
Yes, I do.
That's what
Should
you
we
do.
go live?
Now we need to go.
We got to go.
All
Deals
right,
and
that was
Steals.
Pop News, everyone.
Do you want to do a little
Yeah, let's
at the
Copacabana.
Copacabana.
Hi, Tori.
Hi, Tori.
What's going on?
Ready
Now
to
time
do
for
some
Deals and
very
Steals.
special Deals and Steals.
Hey,
Scan
so
that QR code at
it's
the
a
bottom of your
spring
screen.
fling?
It's spring fling, baby.
It is.
We're starting with neighbor goods.
Okay.
And this is the easiest way to make eco swaps that add a little bit of sunshine
Love
to your
that.
everyday. So look at this bag. Whether you are shopping, schlepping, traveling,
Look
you
at
can
my
do it in
outfit.
That's a
style.
perfect match,
It looks
by the
so
way.
good. Then we also have options for the kitchen. So this is the sponge cloth. Do me the honors and
Give it a squeeze?
Yep, give it a squeeze right over that bowl. Look how absorbent it is. Look how much water was in there.
In the sponge cloth.
That's
unbelievable.
So that's an unbelievable paper towel and sponge alternative.
All
We
in
also
one.
have their gorgeous
And
dish
reusable,
towels.
recyclable.
That is a great
It is
idea.
so smart. Everything slashed by 50% starts at $350.
Let's go.
Okay,
All right.
then we
Cookware.
need really great tools, utensils for the kitchen. We've got a big variety from GIR, which stands for Get It Right, because they do. Okay, so look at these suction lids. These turn any bowl into a storage container.
Oh,
So see how it's
brilliant.
suctioned?
I
It's
need
so
that.
smart. This just pops right onto the bowl of your choice.
But that's tricky. Wait
You're
a
also-
minute.
No,
When
don't
you
worry.
pull it like this, it doesn't. But when you pull it like that, oh,
Exactly.
Science.
So it suctions on
Yeah.
there. Then we also have, look at all these great tools. This is their spoonula, this spatula.
A
Look at how,
spoonula.
the spoonula. Then look at this. This is the ladle. Look at inside that ladle. It's got all the
Oh,
markers on
look at
it
that. You can
for the
also
precise
use it as a
measurements.
measurement
We have
cup.
their
It's not as cool
spoons.
as
We
a
have
spoon you
every
buy. No, it's
single
not.
reusable. It's food grade silicone. These products are durable, and they're also a little fun to the kitchen. The straws that we have start at under $2.
What do we call these?
Suction lids.
Suction lids. That is.
Okay.
I'm
Order a
definitely
group
ordering
of them,
those.
and I'm taking
Schmidt
this potato masher.
Schmidt
All right,
Brothers.
why
We've
not?
got big assortment of. You're taking things along.
Yeah.
We've
Yes.
got knife blocks as well as grill sets
I bought
and
this
knives.
for Rick.
I
and
know.
He loves it.
because they're gorgeous.
It's very
and
sexy. It looks great.
It looks really good. They're so unbelievably durable. Look at these. Look at how beautiful
Very
this
attractive
is.
with the wood handles.
Everything is gorgeous.
Father's Day is coming.
Premium German stainless steel meets gorgeous wood, all slashed by 50%. Starts at $25.
I'm definitely ordering that.
Then, for the babies in your life, look at how fun. Bella Tuna is a purpose-driven mealtime accessories company that is working to eradicate childhood hunger. For every item they sell, they donate a meal for children in this country through Feeding America. More than 14 million meals have been donated. Look at how fun these are, though. That you could feed Sam, maybe
listen, because it's got that sticky thing on it, I don't throw it off the table.
They're suction to the table, 3 dividers so that kids don't get frustrated with feeding themselves. I love that the bibs have this little, so when it misses the mouth and it goes right into the little holder, so
I don't
then
get
you
it
got
all over the suit.
Exactly.
Do they come in adult sizes? Or no?
You can choose your own. All slash and half from Bella Tuna. Huge assortment, starts at $4. Really makes mealtime more fun. Then we've got these incredible candles that I love from Kobo. Right wherever you want to be. Whoa, sorry.
We did the dance.
Smell that one. Basil. This one, Sam, my favorite. Tomato vine is my favorite. What's great about these is
this is my favorite.
You can soak this, and then you get to plant whatever it is. You'll get seed. You'll get to grow something that is inspired by this. All of these slash and half starts at $16.50. These are phenomenal tomato though. I'm telling you. And then finally,
it smells
dugout mugs. They've turned the barrel of a bat inside.
They recycled bats and turned them into mugs?
These 12 ounces, hot or cold. You guys, we gotta go. But these are fabulous for your favorite MLB team. All slashed by 50%.
This is better than the barbecue gift.
Go to our website, go to the QR code, and shop away.
We'll see you on 3 because we've got more.
Welcome back to GMA, live from Times Square.
And welcome back, our friend Cameron Mathison to GMA.
Yay, can I clap?
You guys. Love you guys. It's great to have you back. Your game show, Beat the Bridge, is going to have dozens of new episodes coming out. We want to talk about that, but first, we all followed your experience through the wildfires. It looked like it was so tough for you and your family. How are things going now?
Oh, well, thank you for asking. You guys, have been great. It's we're moving forward. We're doing the next thing, and obviously trying to help other people that are going through the same things as well. Yeah, that was the morning I drove up. Actually, I think I was talking to you guys shortly after that experience.
Is that what we're looking at? Was your house?
That was where my house was. Yes, exactly.
Damn.
And I drove up, and as I told you last time, I turned the audio off because I was kind of like definitely in shock and having a tough time through all that. With that said, I think it's understandable that this is, devastating for so many that, because you guys are family. And so I'll say this, that it's actually been harder than you'd even imagine logistically and also emotionally, and obviously with kids and raising them there and having everything. Every piece of evidence of your existence in life is gone.
But you were able
It's very odd. It's an odd experience, but I'm also very positive and moving forward and resilient. I'm doing my best.
I was going to say, you were able to find something that means so much to you. And thank you for being so open and talking about your recovery. But that sign, the family sign?
Yeah, we actually named the house Casa Lula after our kids. There it is right there, Lucas and Layla, so we came up with Lula. And we did a lot of renovations on this place. This was like a passion project. And once we'd finished all that, we had this beautiful kind of tile thing with a little name on the front, and we found that sign. And so we're going to kind of put that back together, make a little art piece out of it, and just as a memento to remember, but also to be able to move forward in the next phase, the next chapter.
Yeah.
So,
and let's move forward to your great game show, Beat the Bridge.
Yes.
Where teams win money by answering questions correctly. But I'm curious, what have you learned about yourself doing this show?
I've learned that I get way too excited when I'm giving people money. That's one thing. No, it's true. Like, I'm out there. Like, I literally forget that I'm trying to drive the show and host it. And I'm on there, and because that's all, I'm kind of guiding them along. The bridge is really the character in the show, this enormous interactive bridge, as you see there, with the top of the bridge being the kind of game board. But the bridge is the character they're trying to beat. I'm cheering them on. I've learned like I can also handle, like we did 100 episodes in like 4 weeks. So, it's amazing what you're able to kind of remember and kind of move forward. And then I've also learned a decent amount of trivia to be honest, which has kind of been fun.
Fun party trick.
Yeah, it's a fun party trick.
Yeah. Hey, so Kim, we're going to show a clip, and the answer in this clip is apparently going to lead you to a good story.
Oh, okay.
So just keep that in mind as we watch.
I'm paying attention.
It's Bradley Cooper.
Correct. Well done, 3 in a row. I remember the day I was working as an actor on All My Children. Bradley Cooper came in to screen test for All My Children. I helped him find his way to the set. He didn't get the part, but he's doing okay. He's doing okay. That's the shortened version of it, but it's true. And I didn't even remember. It was not until a red carpet event later that he came up to me and he pointed at me, and I was like, oh, what have I done? And he told me that story, and I was like, oh, that's so cool, because it was, it was just a green actor, a new actor on the set of All My Children trying to find his way to stage.
Oh, that's so funny.
Guy named Bradley Cooper.
Yep, a lovely young man.
Yeah.
Do you think you would be good at this game as a contestant?
I would say that I think I get to read the questions beforehand. I kind of play every round beforehand, and I'm not great. Like I'm not, you know what I mean? Like I have my moments, but I'm, I overthink it a little bit. It's a hard game because sometimes, well, obviously, if you know the category, you're going to do great. If you don't know the category, you still got a shot because it's multiple choice, right? Which I love about it.
Yeah.
But I've never been great at multiple choice. I overthink it. It's fun.
I hope everybody realizes you are exactly who you seem you are. You're the greatest guy, and we've known you for a very long time, my friend. Let's put your skills to the test, Cam, though. I mean, because we love you, but we're still going to put you through it.
No, let's
go. We're going to play a game. We don't have a big bridge like you do. We don't have all that fancy stuff. But how about a little Cameron quiz?
Okay.
So you answer true or false with those paddles. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. So here's the topic. It's kind of like America's heartthrob Cameron Mathison is the topic.
Well,
okay, are you ready?
That's
you think you can do okay with this?
Okay.
The Christmas Ornament, one of your first Hallmark Christmas movies, co-starred Jeannie Garth. Jenny Garth. I knew that.
Well, that's false. It was Kelly Martin.
Well, but it's also false for another reason. Because The Christmas Ornament, you did another movie that year. Because if I get it right, guys, can I see? Is that there? So there were 2 Christmas movies. One of them had Jeannie in it. One of them didn't.
This question is
there you go. The Christmas and Holidays.
You're right. So that was trick, but that wasn't our homework. That was
I'm
ABC
telling you,
Family.
we were going to put you through
questions
it.
like that on the bridge?
You know what? There's like so many Christmas movies. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like I can't even keep track. But yes, that's true.
All right. Okay. So far, that's a lose right there.
I'm amazing so far.
All right.
I'm very get me on the bridge.
True or false? Peach Cobbler Mystery is the first movie in the Murder She Baked series.
False. False. It was cookie. It was chocolate chip cookie or something like that.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm cheering you on.
I know. Thank you, Robin. Thank you.
All right, we got one more to go to break the tie. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Last question. On season 5 of Dancing with the Stars, you performed a quick step to the song "Why Can't I Be You" by The Cure. True or false?
I think it's false.
How are you gonna fail your own test?
Oh, is that what it was? Is that what it was? I thought it was that. Oh my gosh, that's embarrassing. There he goes. Look at him.
He has to know.
It was by The Cure?
Come on, it's kind of like getting fired on your day off.
This show, The Bridge, he has to know a lot of information about a lot of things.
Yeah.
So I understand, Cam.
Well, it's my life. I should have probably gotten that one. I don't know.
I was trying for you, pal.
Yeah, I love you. I love you for that. I love you, yeah.
And if anybody wants to know, you are now mean on General Hospital.
That's
and
correct.
Loving it and
That's
loving
right.
every minute of it.
Yeah, I get apples thrown at me in the supermarket by people. That's a true story.
So much fun to have you. Thanks for
Great
coming.
to see you guys.
New episodes of Beat the Bridge are weeknights on Game Show Network.
Now with our series In Our Home, it's a look at how the American family is evolving. We put the call out for you to tell us all about your families, and this morning we want to introduce you to one of them, the Lowe family, who, like more and more American households, are living in a multi-generational home.
Welcome to our home. Mi casa es su casa.
With 4 generations under one roof,
I'm blessed to be able to have my mom with me, my daughters with me, and my grandbabies with me. El mundo!
the Lowe family from Grand Rapids, Michigan, is proud to be part of a growing movement. One of the nearly 18% of Americans living in a multi-generational home.
Listen. It's the time here. Between having just 2 bathrooms, it gets crazy, but we love it. Come on in.
That is Jade Lowe, the 29-year-old mom of 3.
3, 2, 1, cut.
Who made the choice to live with her 84-year-old grandmother.
The top of the pyramid, she's from Mexico, and now she lives with us.
Her mother and younger sister to prioritize stability and financial freedom.
Between my grandma, my mom, and my sister, they kind of all just like help out. And the price of rent, I pay my mom a portion versus having my own like mortgage.
Housing costs rising through the roof, with the average rent in the U.S. at $1,406. The median mortgage, $1,902. Jade's not alone. About 1 in 3 adults ages 18 to 34 also live at their parents' home.
It allowed me to still live my best life in my 20s. It allowed me to just be happy and not have to worry about those extra expenses. I get to keep it and I get to put it in my savings. It means everything, honestly.
For Jade, it's not only about saving money.
This is my grandma at the age of 22 with her husband.
It's also about having a built-in support system filled with love and legacy.
The knowledge that goes from generation to generation and also break down barriers to absorb, and then every generation is getting better. We just don't think about ourselves, we think about as a group, as a collective.
Jade's mom, Hema, will often pick up her grandkids from school after work.
I put my schedule around family time so that we can all kind of function.
Despite their tight bond,
let's go shopping!
6 women under one roof isn't always easy.
You know, there's a lot going on in the household, and sometimes I want things my way, and then I have to think about, but maybe it's not what they would like.
I love that everyone is so different, and we like kind of bring those differences together under one roof. It is crucial to unite right now. In today's climate, I think that just being under one household helps us with that. We're forced to be together, we're forced to have family dinners, which is beautiful.
At the Lowe House, they have found a layout that works.
This is our main level. Grandma's that way, Mom is this way. This door leads to my sister's room, so I'll open it, but we're not gonna go all the way up there. Down here, it is the bottom of our home. This is where myself and my 3 kids now live. We have our own space, our own bathroom, love it.
Finding joy in the time they share and knowing no matter what, they'll always be there.
The foundation of the society is the family. It makes it better for the outside world.
That is a blessing to be able to still live at home with my mom, to be able to see my grandma on a day-to-day, to be able to put my kids and my grandma under one roof where they have like such a great relationship. So we blessed and highly favored. I love you, I love you.
Blessed and highly favored, and so wonderful that they opened their home and allowed us to share their story like that. And we asked Jade, we said, Jade, so how does your grandmother feel about having the great-grandchildren around? And she said it gives her grandmother a sense of purpose and also keeps her on her toes.
Yeah. So they must have learned a lot by doing this. What kind of tips do they have for people looking good?
George, they got a big old-fashioned wall calendar. Remember those big old ones like that? Yeah, they put everything in like that. So they just found a way to make it work that way. They know where everybody is, and they, the chores and stuff like that, but it's a big old-fashioned wall calendar like that.
Probably really wall-sized.
It's wall-sized. And we want people to know, you can find out more about the Lowes and other families, because so many multi-generational families out there living together. Look, and you can find out that information on our website.
I'm sure it gets hectic, but the blessings far outweigh the drama.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
I love that too. Well, I remember my grandmother's mother lived with her. I can remember that. And even Amber said that she can remember her grandmother living with them for a time. It seems to be more of an international thing, but now we're seeing it more here in the States. Yeah.
It's funny. My entire family has always wanted their own house. I want to live. I want to see you, but I want to live only here.
Yeah, my mom wanted the compound. Like we would not.
She did.
Yeah,
did she? Yeah.
Same property, but not in the same house.
Yeah. I understand that too.
Well, my goodness, coming up, Chef Roy Choi is here with his spin on some of your favorite dishes. It really looks delicious. It does.
We are back now, cooking up something easy and delicious with celebrity chef and best-selling author Roy Choi. Roy, thank you for being here. And Roy's cookbook, yes.
That's what's up.
I love the name of your cookbook. The Choi of Cooking is full of flavor-packed, rule-breaking recipes that will help you eat healthier. Well, welcome to the show. And one of my favorite things, I can eat every wing that we have here, but especially the flavor. We got Korean-style soy ginger wings. And you're going to show us how to make them.
Yeah. First, we start with the marinade. So why don't you help me out and start with the liquids?
Yeah, what goes into the sauce?
So that's water.
Okay.
That's easy. That's soy sauce.
All of it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
That's mirin or rice vinegar. You could use either one. And then we have two juices, pineapple and orange juice.
Pineapple, okay.
And we got jalapenos. We got garlic. We got sugar.
Ooh.
We got onions and green onions and a little pinch of pepper.
A little pinch of pepper.
And then we mix that up.
Smells good,
right?
Yeah,
so good.
That smells so good.
And the cooking I do is real easy, man. We just dump it in.
Now, how long do you let that cook like that?
We bring it up to a boil, then a simmer, maybe 10, 20 minutes at the most.
Okay.
That's it, you know. And then we put it in the bag like this.
Oh, you just drop the wings in the bag.
Just right in the bag, and then we put them in the oven, so we don't fry them.
Yeah, because people are so used to crispy wings, and you bake yours.
Yep.
So how do you get them crispy when you bake them?
Well, the whole thing is glazing.
Glazing.
Yeah, you got to glaze. I'm from the West Coast. We glaze out there. Come on now.
I love it.
Yeah, so just glaze that, and then it'll come out like stained glass. And what we want is that stained glass to crack like the conclave. You know what I'm saying?
I love that, man.
And then right over here, we garnish with a little bit of salt. And I already put that salt on there.
I'm gonna drop some more in there.
All right, there we go.
Okay, so you garnish it like
and
that.
And then green onions and sesame seeds. Go ahead.
Ready to go.
And that's it. And you can bite one if you want.
I gotta talk, so I can't eat yet. But trust me, I'm gonna do it. Well, you said that your cookbook meets you where you are. What do you mean by that?
Well, I've always struggled with kind of eating the wrong way my whole life. I mean, you're an athlete. You know how important nutrition is. I didn't know how important that was, and a lot of people from my neighborhoods and people I represent, it's only fast food, snacks, junk food, tobacco, alcohol, all that. It's easy to access those things, but it's not easy to access good food. And so, and especially as cooks, what we do is we cook great food all day, but then to ourselves, we eat the worst food. So it got to a point where it's unsustainable. Yeah. And I finally reached a point with maturity and age where I could confront it, and I wrote a book.
And now you're sharing it.
I'm sharing it, man, and that's it, but you don't want to lose your comfort, so it's like the Choi of cooking is about how do you make wings but make them healthy. You don't fry them.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Little things like that. And something else you're going to share, your version of a salad, the cold bibim noodle salad.
All right, I like
and you said, and you said your mom's magic sauce is the difference, right?
That's this right here.
And what is
the magic sauce is gochujang, sesame oil, garlic, ginger, soy sauce, everything like that. This thing kept me alive. She packed it. It was like Raiders of the Lost Ark. She packed this thing in this old kind of like ceramic thing, and she would pull it out. It was like from 1,000 years ago. It was
like glow when you pull it out.
Yeah, it would glow when you pulled it out.
So you just pour that onto the noodles?
Yeah, so we put that on the noodles like this, and then as you see over there, it's gonna mimic like a pomodoro, spaghetti pomodoro. So you want to mix that together?
Yeah,
I'll add some more stuff to that. And then.
And you said that, you know what, it's your bowl, your rules when it comes to this salad. So what do you mean? You can do whatever you want, right?
That's what I'm saying. I try to make salads for people that don't eat salads. And, salads, it's a hard sell to a lot of my homies, But then if you can make a salad, eat like a meal, and put whatever you want in it, like you can put watermelon in the salad.
We got watermelon, we got lime, we cucumbers. Lettuce, we got a little bit of everything.
Yeah, so take those beautiful noodles. It looks like spaghetti. So another thing is trick your eyes. If you don't eat salads, trick your eyes, and then you looks like spaghetti. You put the watermelon in there and put a little bit of the greens in there.
Greens in there.
And the thing about eating healthy and where you meet people where they are is make the food they want to eat and then sneak in all the good stuff.
Well, you did that, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you, Roy. And you can get these recipes on GoodMorningAmerica.com. Roy's going to be back in our third hour GMA with more recipes from his new cookbook, The Joy of Cooking. Make sure you go get it because it is out right now, everybody.
Well, we just gave Simone an idea for a brand new segment on GMA. We're not going to share it with you, but I can guarantee it would be a great segment.
There's a clue right here.
There's a clue.
There's a clue.